Now edge reduction, understand, it could be a little confusing at first, but I'm going to keep with my 5x5 techniques. And I only did 3 edges, and that's all I'm going to do. These edges over here, these 3, I'm going to ignore these. That's going to be complexities for later, but I'm just going to reduce these edges over here. I've already got 2 red ones in here, red and blue, so I'm going to find the other red and blue, and the technique is exactly the same. So let's see, red and blue, here's red and blue, and it fits. So I'm going to move this over here and bring this down to well, actually this comes over to here, so we have to bear in mind exactly where we are and exactly what we're doing. So I'm going to take this and move this down to here. Being a 5x5, I'm still moving it like that, moving it with all these layers together. Okay, so having seen where it's supposed to go, you can see this is supposed to go down here. Okay, so we're going to take this red and blue and apply our strategy here. Make sure our centers are lined up. You can see this wasn't lined up over here, and now it is. So now this comes down, and we've created this edge. Bump it out of the way, like so. Replace it with this edge over here, like so. Move this back and move this in. So here's our nice little slice over there. There's an edge over here. How about this? Okay, line this up over here, or it's going to become difficult. Orange and white. Well, here's an orange and white, but that's not one that we're going to be using. It's not one of my central 3, my triad over here. It's this, and this that I'm looking for. This one isn't going to work because I can't free it up. Right now, this one can't be freed up beyond this, so I'm not going to worry about that edge. I have to find one that's over here. That's the orange and white that I'm looking for, and that's what can be confusing sometimes. So I can't use this one either because you can see it's outside of my central 5x5 triad over here. So orange and white. What about this one? Well, no, this one is outside of it also. You can see it's not lined up with the center. So somewhere here is the orange and white that I'm looking for. It's this guy buried into here. So let's line this up where it's supposed to be. Line it up where we can use it. And this will come into here. Notice this one fell out. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to go ahead and super glue that back in. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. But this will come over to here to line up like so. And same thing. Take it out of the way. Bring it down. Bring it back. And bring this back up. The centers will be completely saved, and I'll just have this in over here. I thought I saw the other one right over here. This will come to here, and I'll do the same thing. Now I don't want this to be in the way, so I'm not going to move it down from here with this one up here because I'll destroy that one. So I'm going to bat this out of the way, have another sacrificial lamb, turn it down, then turn, 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 and up we go. All right, so now we have this. And then I just keep doing the same thing. Here's a green and red. So I'm going to move this into position. Turn it over here. Turn it around from this way. Now you can do the 5x5 strategy of your choice. You can do layer by layer if you wanted. You can do parity free, although all 5x5s are really parity free when you think about it. But I'm going to do it this way just because it correlates more with what I'm showing easily with a 5x5 and turn it in. All right, so far so good. How about this? Well, despite the fact that you see two green and whites together, we're not doing this one yet. This is not the one, it's these three that have to participate in that. So how about this orange and blue? Here's an orange and blue over here. So plop this one up here. What's fun about these complex puzzles is notice I'm not doing anything different than a 5x5 solve. I'm just lining things up as best I can. Move this down. And then the lining up portion gets easier and easier as you reduce it more and more, because the organization of the puzzle becomes more apparent. Turn, turn, and turn. Okay, the other one I'm looking for, right over here. And because I know where things are in coordination with the central edge portions, or the we'll take this, plop this down to here, turn, 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 and turn. And it's getting easier to orient myself as the puzzle's getting solved. This to come down to here, turn, 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 and I want to make sure I'm lined up here, and turn. The reason why I'm showing all of this is because I know that some people like to see this get solved all the way through, going from complete chaos to order every step of the way. Okay, blue and white. This will come over to here. Whoop, put it on the wrong side. Plop this to here. Turn this here. Okay, so blue and white. Get this lined up. This puzzle loves to turn. Okay, I don't want to destroy this part. So I'm going to move this up. Bring this guy down. Turn. Turn. Turn, and up we go. All right, step by step. I've already got two green and reds. Do I have another green and red to use? Close at hand, right over here. So I'm just going to move this into position. Bring this over to here. Whoop, wrong place. Here and here. Okay. So bring this down, across, turn it in, through, and up. All right, see what else we have. It's kind of easier to visualize these because they kind of come out at you a little bit. So here's another blue and yellow. These are already reduced, so I'm going to move this one up, bring this guy down. You can see the deep bandaging with this guy here, so turn, 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 and up we go. All right, let's find another blue and orange, blue and yellow rather. Can't use this one, right? Because this one doesn't intersect with the center over here, so it's not part of my 5x5 solve. Rather, the one that I'm looking for is going to be this guy. So we'll swing that down, swing it around, and then bring it in. Move this out of the way, turn, 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 and up we go. All right, and I'm just going to keep doing this right up until the last two edges. So I've got these two. Now notice this has that kind of placement issue that I was talking about. I could leave that go, or I can simply red bullet to bring that back. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just going to leave that go for now. Okay, I've got two red and yellows that I can see, so turn this into here. This red and yellow will come over to here and be exchanged with this edge, so turn, bring it across, down, all right, continuing with the yellow and red. Let's see if we can find one easily, conveniently. I've got this green one here too, so I'm just ripe with opportunities to get this all set. Red and yellow, got one over here, so turn and turn. So now I'm finding less and less ones that I can sacrifice, except these. Turn this over here, turn this here, and turn, 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 and up. Okay. I've got well, here's the green and white, which I can use for what? Thought I saw a green and white pair here. Nope, right over here. So turn and turn. So what I'm going to do is take this and slide that into here, which means I have to put the one that I'm going to sacrifice just to the side. You can see this is the one with the placement issues. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to sacrifice this because I kind of don't want that there anyway. So I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to have plenty of opportunities to do red bulls on this puzzle. So I think I'll sacrifice this for now and not do a red bull quite yet. I'll save that. Okay. So having moved that out, what I can now do is move this in the right way, which will save me some time later. Double turn, bring this in here. Okay, so what can be a sacrificial lamb on this side? No, no, and no. So we're probably getting close to our last two edges. I think we've got our last three edges right now. But I'm going to turn this into place over here. No, these are all solved. So this is one that I'm looking for. Okay, which is too bad because this is lined up, but it's not going to be in a second, but that's okay. I like to concentrate on one at a time. Turn, 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 glide this in, and turn this out. And if I'm not mistaken, I should be very close, if not right at my last two edges. And let's see if our strategy can work with this too. We're actually not at the last two edges because I see too many similar colors, which means I can bring this right back in. I just have to find my other, right over here, my other edge. So move this in, turn, turn. Turn and move this back. Okay, I can place this one now, the other orange and green. Put this into place, and now this will be placed down to here. Find the other edge that's out, which is this guy here. So simply turn it in, move it in, across, down, and up. Okay, now the last two edges. The only thing that requires an algorithm, the other was more, I don't even know if I'd call it a commutator, it was just kind of positioning and repositioning. So I've got this edge and this edge, white and red. So really this is just a question of central placement. These two have to be swapped for each other. Well, there's something I can do about this. I could go ahead and just swap them one by one. This goes here and this goes here, so that'll swap over there. And then just do it again, but I'm going to do something a little different. This is something of a more advanced kind of technique. I'm going to do an algorithm that actually takes these and swaps these two with each other. So this will end up here and this will end up here. And what that's going to be is it's going to be 2U, 2R, 2F, and then once again 2U, and then go just above that with another 2U, then finish it up with a 2F, 2R, 2U. And it did swap it. So this is in here, but now we've got this. And this is in that same configuration where these need to be swapped, so I'm going to have to Red Bull this. There's no way around it. It'll be the last one, the last edge it's in, but I know that I can avoid parity because I know these are not positioned correctly. I've got this one to tell me that that's the case. So we'll do 2R, 2B, 2U, L, 2 up, RI, 2 up, R, 2 up, 2F, R, 2F, LI, 2B, 2R, and like magic, it's done. So we got it. So what we have here is we now have a reduced 5 by 5 the same way that we have this over here. So we have our edges reduced, which are these three over here, these, and these, and our centers are reduced as well. So you can see we're still a little ways away from freeing things up. We've only reduced down our 5 layers, but we haven't really reduced anything beyond that. I can't move anything within these layers. I'm still stuck at a 5 layer, but the process of reducing and going through these bandaged areas is going to have to be by actually solving this as a 3 by 3, because by solving this as a 3 by 3, we're going to start to get a little bit more of our cuboid form. So the 3 by 3 solve is the beginner's method, and that's going to be starting off, say with the green layer, put our edges in first, coordinate the edges with the center. This is coordinated over here. This is a matter of just positioning. Line up the yellow, put the green one in here. Here's another green. This is already lined up. So this is an edges first. Line this up with the correct center, move this in. The corners then are done with RIDIRDs. Take the corner, put it just below where it's supposed to be. In this case, this is the green, yellow, and orange, which is supposed to be here. RIDIRD, RIDIRD, and you keep doing that until the corners are in. So we've got this over here, move this where it's supposed to be, RIDIRD. And I'm just kind of demonstrating the simplest of all solves here. Put that below the wrong one. Okay, so you can do RIDIRD, or you can go ahead and do it a slightly faster way. I'm just going to go a little faster here. Turn, turn, turn. Oh, wrong one. Turn, turn. And we've got the top layer. Middle layer, this is one simple algorithm. Find the ones that don't belong on the top. This is lined up with the center. This has to move down here. On the left side, it's UI, LI, UL, UF, UI, FI, and that'll coordinate that over here. This to come down here, same algorithm. Turn, 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 turn. So this is the first two layers, or F2L, so to speak. This will come here. Same algorithm. Turn and turn. The right-sided algorithm will bring this down to here, and that's going to be UR, UIRI, UIFI, UF, and all that's fine. So that's the second layer. The last layer, you want to turn all of these, you want to orient the edges. So this is the OLL, or the orientation of the last layer. So to do that, we have what's called an L formation, where you have this is oriented right and this is oriented right. Put it to the back and to the left, and do FRU, RI, FI. That'll give you a line over here. Do it again. FRU, RI, FI. So these are all fine. And what we want to do is we want to line these up. You get two that are in, then go just to the side, bring it to the right and to the back, and do RU, RIU, R2U, RI, and that'll put those where they need to be. Corners to be oriented. This, if you have two that are in, then all of them are going to be in. In this particular puzzle, an odd layered puzzle, you're not going to have two in and two out. We'll save that for the even layered puzzles. It's the same thing with the last corner, RIDIRD it, RIDIRD, RIDIRD. Move the next one in and do the same thing. And it will become magically solved. And that would be it. 5-layer puzzle is done, it's solved. And I'm going to do the same thing with this, and let's see how far we get with this. Let's see where we're at when we finish the 5-layer solve. We're going to do beginner's method with 3x3. I'm going to orient it with a white one. This time, here's white and green. It's already oriented with a green center, so simply bring it up. Find more whites. Here's a white and red. I'm going to orient this with a red center over here and go curse splat. So let's see what this is going to look like when it's all done. Well, not all done, but see how many we can free up, how many layers we can free up. This is over here. This white has to be coordinated up here. So let's bring it down to the bottom. Find the blue center, which is here. Take this blue, match it up with the center over here. Pull this into place. Move this back down. So we've got all of our edges in. Now I just have to get our corners. All the white corners, white, orange, and green. This belongs here. RIDIRD this. RD. So we're doing okay with this over here. Now remember, we are ignoring these guys. We have to remember that this is all that we're worried about. I'm focusing this on a 5x5 solve. Now it's a reduced 5x5 down to a 3x3. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, red and green. So just put my corners in now. Turn, turn, turn. Find another white. That would be a turn. Now notice there still is a stickiness to this, not because it needs to be lubed, it really doesn't. It's just because all these small pieces sometimes run into conflict and they snag a little bit. That snagging will get less and less as we start to finish our solve here, because you can see the structure is emerging now. So it's a lot easier to line up. But we certainly have to pay our dues first. Turn, turn, turn. So now I'm able to just move it with one finger. Okay, so here's our first layer. The first layer is done, but as part of our F2L, or first two layers, we're going to start putting the rest in. So line this up. This moves down to here. So this is the right-sided algorithm to move the edges in of the second layer. U, R, UI. RI, UI, FI, U, and F. So the structure is emerging a little bit more as we're getting the edges in appropriately. Okay, this is going to come down to the left side. And that's going to be UI, LI, U, L. U, F, UI, FI. Now notice what I did. This is just a collection of a bunch of commutators. Commutators are where you do of the form UR, UI, RI. You're doing a move and then you're undoing the move. I just did two sets of those in order to move this into position. Okay, this green is going to find a nice home down here. So turn, 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 turn. So no mysteries with this, nothing too complex. This gets us moving in the right direction. Turn, turn, and turn. And see what else we have. Okay. Oh, not quite yet. This one is in the wrong place, so I gotta move it up and then move it back down again. Turn, 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 turn. And up it goes. This actually just super glued down, so that shouldn't be a problem anymore. Of course, I can't tension it anymore, but I don't think I'm gonna need to. Trapum does a good job of making the puzzles very well playable. Turn, 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 and turn. Okay, so the second layer is done. Again, we're ignoring all of these non-5 layer portions. This is rotated right, this is rotated right. So to continue that process, we're going to do our F, R, U, RI, UI, FI, launch right back into it because we have a line here now. F, R, U, RI, UI, FI. Now it's not completely necessary to do the entire 3x3 solve. As long as we're freeing it up, it doesn't matter if we line it up completely, but I'll do it just for the sake of completion. This is in, move it to the right and to the back, and do R, U, RI, U, R, 2U, RI. So this is lined up, this is lined up, and now we do our corners. We find corners that are in. This isn't, well, actually this one is. So I look here, if this isn't, then the rest aren't either. So then I'm going to do the algorithm that keeps this where it is and rotates these around. It's going to be U, R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L. Didn't have to do that algorithm with the other one, but we're doing it now. So this one isn't in yet, so I can move. I can do it again. U, R, U, I, L, I, U, R, I, U, I, and L. Should be very hopeful now. So yeah, they're all where they need to be. I just have a lot of RIDIRDing it to get it into submission. RIDIRD. And we're going to look what happens when it's all in. RD, and again, RIDIRD. RIDIRD. You can see this is in, so we move the next one into position, do the same thing. RIDIRD. Remember, the symmetry of this puzzle, the parity is such where it wants to be solved. It's just waiting for you to do the right passwords, to do the right combinations. Now this one comes in, RIDIRD. RIDIRD. And finally, last, probably least, this one moves in. RIDIRD. RIDIRD. One more turn of it. RIDIR and D. Move this into place, and there it is. Our 3x3 solve is done, and you can see that we're starting to get ourselves back into a familiar shape. So what we have after having done the 5x5, we've put it into this position, and now we're done with the n by n by n portion of it. The 5x5 reduction to a 3x3 is now finished, and it served its purpose. And you may find that some of these are actually freed up. So we're still going to have to work on that, but at least we have a baseline functionality here. Now, if done right, everything that I reduced should stay reduced. This should no longer be a problem, and this should no longer be a problem. So now that we've done that, what I want to do is I want to continue the process of reduction where it's obvious that as long as this is here, it's sliced into here. I can't extend my centers at all as long as I have this here. So what I'm going to do now is I have to bring these down, and I want to put in the proper centers. And that is the next step. We leave the cube strategy, and now we start to move into more floppy strategy with our ultimate shapeshifter.